This video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is a simple tool that provides you a safe and enjoyable online experience. It can unlock your favorite apps and websites no matter where you are, like in an office or school setting, or even visiting areas where certain services are blocked. That's because ExpressVPN has over 3,000 servers in 160 locations spanning across 94 countries. Accessing region-locked content from services like Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, and HBO Max, amongst many others, is simple and fast. ExpressVPN also shields all your internet traffic with strong encryption and has a strict no activity or connection logs policy. You're protected on any network, including public Wi-Fis in cafes, airports, and hotels. ExpressVPN is available on Windows, Mac, iOS, Android, Linux, and even routers, so your gaming consoles or smart TVs can also benefit from it. Use the link expressvpn.com/JaganX to find out more, and to receive a limited time offer of receiving an extra 3 months when you sign up for the 12-month plan. Hey guys, welcome to another session of Epic 7. It's been a while. I'm gonna do an account showcase, what I had built for the end of Conviction season, World Arena. I know that actually while I'm recording right now, we're actually in a preseason for World Arena, which I believe the new season will be coming soon because we're in the new season of Guild War, new season of Arena at the moment. So it's a bit late than my usual schedule, but I think this time around I did have a couple good upgrades, especially in regards to speed. I'll talk about that later, but we're gonna go through this, so hopefully you guys enjoy. Sit back, enjoy. A lot of the same builds actually from the previous 2 seasons. My RB I've never changed. I did eventually, get the other RB, the free Moonlight that we got with the quality of life changes. I did get another RB thinking that, have 2 RBs, build a counter RB, and then one a speed RB. RB's RB. I think he's pretty good overall. Again, like I said, this one has really never changed. So if you've seen the past couple, I think past 2 account showcases, it would have been the exact same build. It's just that like none of the speed gear is like super high speed. I just can't find anyone to really use this at the moment, even in the current meta. I mean, I guess like maybe Strays could probably take it and adapt it. But this is my Strays at the moment. He's on Portrait. These are all RTA spec. Although I think that at the moment, if Strays is going in, he probably should be 250 speed. But he works when I need him to, so a lot of like Guild War offense, Arena offense, he's useful there. This usually doesn't fail a kill, assuming my attack is higher, like a Sea Lilius Vigor buff doesn't go off before I get to turn or something like that. So this is him. On immunity, I think it's kind of nice to have, although the crit set would mean that I could probably get more speed out of it. Yeah, and Spectenny, there's a Spectenny at the end of the, not even Conviction season. I never actually drafted Spectenny in Conviction season. Conviction season I only hit the champ, so I only got the RB skin, I got the frame. Didn't bother for Emperor this season. Maybe in the next one, I'll see. But this Spectenny was, I think, at the previous season, Ambition season. This was like kind of like the go-to. So I don't know if pen set is like necessarily needed. Crit set could work as well. But it's like just to punish those who only draft single target, and then you can ban the AoE. So it's like high damage on book. I see a lot of people running this type of Spectenny now. But this is mine at the moment. Let's quickly show the stats. In terms of the speed, I'm pretty satisfied with it. Damage is good. Missing 2% crit. It kind of works. But I don't use her a lot anymore, so I feel like I haven't really put a lot of the best gear on her. As my Milim, used in a lot of Guild War near the end of Conviction season. I don't think I really got to use Milim much. There wasn't really many picks where Milim could really like shine, especially my speed build. See what kind of like, it was like Sea Lilius, all that meta, so I felt like Milim kind of fell off there. Rimuru is still very strong at the moment. This is my Yufine. I actually use her for Expo, the Light Elemental Expo. She's very solid there, but I made a video on that, I believe. So if you wanted to check out that team, if you struggle with the light expo, you can check out that team with Yufine. Pretty easy to gear actually. Just make sure she has enough effectiveness. I'm using Alessanox's Wrath since it's not a really good PvP artifact. So you know what, it works. This Rylet lifesteal build. Some might arguably say that, like, hey man, there's no bulk for the lifesteal. May as well go fast speed. This Rylet is pretty strong. Use him a couple times at the season end of World Arena, and like if he doesn't die, if he actually dodges, then he can pretty much full heal back on his S3. So it's nice to have. I kind of like lifesteal Rylet. I get the understanding of the speed pen Rylets too, but I guess maybe I just don't have the speed gear. I don't know. Lorena, after she got buffed, I really like using her for raid. So I built her fully on like a decent set of gear. It's not like perfect, but it's usable PvE gear. Especially on pen set with El's Fist, and El's Fist got a buff as well. It very good for killing raid, even hell raid. Operator Cigarette never really changed much. I think even for 2 seasons now. The way I use her, I use her as a nuke, but predominantly I use her mainly in like offensive scenarios. So we're talking like Guild War offense, Arena offense. She's still very solid. The immunity does come in clutch sometimes, so I haven't really changed it. Politis, same build as before, I believe. The crit rate's kind of scuffed. The Abyssal Crown is just really nice to have. I feel like Abyssal Crown is one of the strongest, even if you're not going for a effectiveness build. Politis, very strong in terms of like having the potential to stun off your well, not the Ran, I guess, but the Piera opponents and stuff like that. See Lilius opponents. Usually kind of double up her with like Dilibet or something versus C. Lilius. At least the end of the Conviction season. I don't know how the meta's shifted now with Hwayoung, but we'll talk about that later. ML Celine, I've never really put like really good gear on her. Definitely needs more speed. Lifesteal would be nice. At that speed, lifesteal would be nice. With the speed set, it should be about 240 to 250 speed in my opinion. But she works for, again, offensive fights. I put out a couple Guild War videos maybe a couple weeks ago, and Celine was like one of them into the meta comps. So one of the meta comps before was like A. Ravi, C. Lilius, Bellion. Celine would do really good job there. So she's okay. The gear used to be on like my LQC, like these 2 pieces, which is pretty good gear score. This one's pretty bad. This one, I don't even know what the heck I was going for. Maybe I should go for more speed actually. Roll the speed out, roll the flat health out for speed. That's usable maybe on someone else. I just realized. Give me a sec. Do I have one? Let's roll it. I haven't really like looked at all my gear in a long time. 2 speed? Come on, no way. Give me 3 speed. Okay, never mind. But yeah, so yeah, ML Celine, okay, I guess. I never even fully invested into her. I didn't even do this. Used her a couple times in World Arena climbing, but as like a pocket pick. Because in pocket pick scenarios, people could be like really thrown off. Like if they didn't draft towards her mechanic, dealing with her, they could be really screwed. So like even at this type of build, pocket pick is worth it. But in World Arena, I think she's kind of hard to use at the moment. Vivian is for Banshee. Briar Witch, man, I used my coins for Briar Witch right before Coward got buffed, and or maybe even after he got buffed, but I was just thinking, oh yeah, it's gonna take a long time for him to come, and I thought that she would have been useful for me. It turns out that after I built her, I just never used her. Like I tried using her, she's not like even with Symbol or something that doesn't miss, like the missile artifact, she's still not guaranteed to kill violets, green violet. And then like she's good at kind of sealing off Rimuru and stuff, but yeah, she's never really worked for me. Like I never really found her to be that useful, especially in the current meta where like everything is really propelled with like a starter of like C. Lilius, Piera, maybe Ran. So like she's kind of weak there because she could, you know, get exposed, get unbuffable, and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like she's kind of fallen off, even for me. Even when I got her, I don't like, even when I got her, she was still kind of useful, but I just never found her to be reliable. I think that's the thing. Never found her to be reliable. Top model Luca kept her built and lowered in terms of like a lot weaker than before, but just very for Guild War offense mainly. Sometimes I see ML Celine in Guild War offense, and I would just go like, you know, Oxlots into Luna. My Luna has a Merciless Glutton, pushes up top model Lulica, and then she gets a boost and kills off the ML Celine with a Soul Burn. Something like that. So it just kept her built, but not really well. And Hwayoung is everybody's rage at the moment. She's proved to be very, very, very strong. And she's hard to kill, does a lot of damage, very, very crazy. I did end up pulling 2 imprints for this one. And if my calculation was correct, every 6% attack, you're getting 100 attack onto Hwayoung, just like pretty much just free. So if you get to triple S, you're getting 300. It's just pretty nuts. So currently, because I have the 9, yeah, you see the difference there. Very, very nice to have. She's very hard to kill. Because how she works, her attack scales the barrier, and she doesn't get a new barrier until after. So if you have an attack buff or a vigor buff, it's going to, of course, the barrier is going to be higher. If I remember correctly, I think the calculation for the current attack, she would start out at like a 3000 HP barrier, which is pretty good, which is, you're looking at about 14,000 HP and then 1600 defense. I like the defense. It definitely has saved me in a couple fights. Unfortunately, like if you're fighting another Hwayoung, so for example in Guild War or Guild War or Arena offense, then the Ubir's Tooth just like, you know, just ignores all the defense anyway, so you just get popped. But the defense is really nice in case that she's facing like an RB or something, or anyone that can do crit damage. The defense is very, very nice since she has that reduction. 228 speed, I have 6% wasted effectiveness, and I have crit rate as well. Unfortunately, it's not in the right weapon or equipment slots for me to seek something better. So like outside of just rolling higher, I don't know if I want to roll out the crit rate there and the effectiveness there. Not quite sure. I'm probably not going to, because like the only thing I could roll out honestly that would be useful for her on those 2 slots are flat HP, which would, I mean, it wouldn't do too much. It might make her survive a bit more, but I'm also keeping the low health. I want to go low. I want to stay at that health, maybe 12,000 max, and up the defense or the speed. I think 7k attack is a really good breaking point in terms of like anything higher than that, you're not going to get too much higher, maybe 7.3k or something like that, but I can potentially wait for future imprints, assuming that she's still useful by then. But outside of that, I'm okay with this build. She's very, very strong. Wish I had one more Iberia's Tooth to max that 100%. Finally, I feel like there's a hero that is meta that could use Iberia's Tooth. Like before, it would be like Gunther or something like that, but he wouldn't be considered meta, I suppose. So yeah, very, very cool. Mercenary Helga is still used for my expos. I skipped that. Summertime Assyria, this is mine at the moment. I think if her banner returns during the summertime, I will go for the max artifact this time. I didn't think that it was that good at that time, and she being pretty much the only one that can use it made me feel like it was low value. But of course, she's pretty strong. It turns out that she is pretty strong, and that artifact is like necessary pretty much. Although I have to say, in like 100 arena offense fights, every time I use Summertime Assyria, I fail like resist check. Always saying resist, even if they don't have immunity. It's pretty nuts how much it happens. But yeah, this one's a really odd one, very bulky. I think that I would just want more speed, to be honest. 260, 270 speed, Summertime Assyria would be great. Maybe even higher attack. Ran. Okay, so Ran was a hero I failed to build last season. Like completely ignored, because even though I had him like geared, he just wasn't used because I wasn't comfortable using him that way. Because I had this necklace on. It was it was a crit rate neck, but I just couldn't get the damage. So even though I'm at 88% crit rate, this is actually an able damage dealer. Like if he gets Alexis proc, it'd be good. But in retrospect, if I'm gonna use him into World Arena, which I didn't this season, I think for Conviction season I mainly used, if I'm gonna use one of the fast speed contesters, it's either Piera or C Lilius. It wasn't Ran for me at least. But I think a portrait would be better than Alexis Basket in case people draft Rimuru and you can't ban Rimuru. So instead of Rimuru stealing your Alexis Basket, if you go portrait, you can choose just to defense break and not buff. So it just might be better. So I think because Guilty Gear is coming back, assuming that Portrait of Savior is also coming back, then I'm probably gonna farm for one more, and probably for him. So breaking the 300 speed for him is not difficult. It's just like Kayron, but I never had the gear to be able to actually get him some damage with speed. So during this season, I finally was able to do it because of this mainly. I got really lucky on the last roll there, giving me 8% attack, and then I think it was a defense, but double rolled on crit rate. So it was better for him to roll out the defense to get more crit rate instead of the effect resistance, which is technically the dud stat. But that was just a thing that I just decided to do. And then the attack here, with unfortunately 17 health, not really useful for a speed DPS. I could roll another 4 attack and another 4 attack here actually. 8% attack is not nothing on him. It would give him a bit more. But Alexis Basket needed for the crit rate, but yeah, depending on how to use him, I think Portia Savior would be the way I want to go in the future. A-Roz has been significantly nerfed, mainly PvE spec, so get the high effect and HP, mainly for the Fire Expo. I did use him a lot for Abyss, all the way to Abyss 120, I believe. And for that, I had to completely rebuild him, like 290 speed or something. 270 maybe? 270? 290 sounds too high. 270 speed or something like that. So yeah, not really used anymore. Closer Charles, I use sometimes. Sometimes weird draft, usually low end World Arena, or some interesting Guild War or Arena offenses, which is really rare to have a Last Rider Crow and Arena offense, or defense rather. But he's pretty good into those kind of situations. If you see like a Politis, Rem, FCC, and someone slow, I usually go like Closer Charles, Wachashiri, Opsig, and stuff like that. And basically, they could tank one Rem counter, and then you just Opsig her, she's dead, the whole team is dead after. So unfortunately, I don't see myself using him too much. In World Arena, I think the only time I draft him again is kind of like the ML Celine slot, where they don't expect it and they're kind of slow. But outside of that, this is the gear I have on him. It's okay. I guess it's 21 speed actually. I could give this to Ran. Give me a sec. Oh, this is 10 crit rate. I see why I didn't give it to Ran, but I could. Theoretically, I could. 3 more speed would be nice. Yeah, so the rest of the gear is just kind of like whatever that made him kind of work. He even has a flat attack ring. Okay, so Fire Cowrick, I was thinking that I would use him. I've never used him. I just I think it's mainly gear. It's just I don't have it, so I never really used him. Celine got buffed, and I am now farming for pen set that would give her that benefit of doing more damage. So this Celine was really old now, maybe 2 to 3 seasons old. But now she got a buff, so she's even stronger now. So I am looking forward to building her. At the moment, she's kind of like pseudo tanky and then not enough damage. So it's like she's everywhere. Probably useful. I still picked her as like a force ban. It's either like her or Politis or something like that. Like as a force ban, I think she's pretty good the way she is right now. But if I had her on pen set and like full damage, then I think that would be even better. Assassin Sid hadn't had to change in the last season or 2, although I don't really draft him as a speed contest since, as you can see, they're only 299 speed. If he was like 310 or something, then I'd probably use him against people who pick Pyrrha and stuff, because at least then you have like a shot, right? You have a shot there. But this would be a bluff if I were to draft him, and I don't like drafting bluffs unless it's a misclick. Luluka, don't know, actually I don't use her anymore. Carrot I rebuilt, kind of liking like, you know, Pyrrha into Summertime Assyria, into like a Carrot with the Soul Burn. Very, very cool to have. I changed her from her bulk build, made it into this kind of speed DPS build, and she's been working. I don't feel that the way the game works right now, bulky Carrot is beneficial anymore. So it definitely like going high speed, and the book holder is very nice to have. But wait, did I show the gear? I'll just quickly show it. It's not the best. It's what I could give her at the time. I should change that effect resist to attack percent. Should I? I guess. Attack percent would make sense because you got crit damage. Maybe in the future someone else can use this. This is pretty scuffed. I fail at rolling a lot of speed gear. I'm just gonna roll it. Alright, at least you got the max of that small one. So yeah, this is pretty good. That's pretty good. Not terrible. And then yeah, an attack. This one is just basically chasing speed and some bulk. Because she has innate damage mitigation, she's actually still not easy to kill. Like, I don't think, I mean, unless RB gabs, I don't think RB can actually kill her in one shot. So it's pretty cool. T-Siren, haven't really built her, rebuilt her. So that's where she's at right now. I don't feel really I want to show this. I mean, there's a ton of purple gear, which if I was critiquing, I would be very pissed off at all that purple gear. Shadow Knight Pillis, I built her for World Arena, ended up using her sometimes more for Arena offense against all the Rem, Bellion, Rimuru, that type of, yeah, that type, and even Politis rather, that type of offense. Pair her with Rowana and ML Sirmia, and you got a pretty good auto team. And then like just add a fourth character or something. So she would like take the bait for like Sea Lilies and stuff like that. So getting her passive up, getting the defense buff for everyone, very, very nice. She's not on the best gear. I just kind of put her together for with whatever I had. So a lot of wasted stats here and there. You can see the stats are all over the place. But she works the way I need her to. Maybe max the Aureus in the future. Luna, I want to get her even stronger than this. I'm already on a broken set here, the hit set counter set. In the future, I probably want to look into higher crit damage, even more attack if possible. But I use her with my Oxalots mainly, and she's really, really good. Like lately, I've seen a lot of people doing like a Pyrrha defense for Arena, and like I just and no Politis. I just like double speed imprint with Oxalots, and the team is melted. They would go like Pyrrha, Sea Lilies or something like that, and a Hwayoung and a Rem, and then just Luna on a maxed Merciless Glutton pushes the entire team 12%, and then with like a Water Shuri or something with Sasha Thane, like Oxalots will get the second turn before Pyrrha even gets a turn. So it's very, very nice. It's like full CR boost, very cool. Sirmia I use for Katie's mainly, use for Holo Trial sometimes, but it's a Katie's build. I don't, outside of the Katie's hunt, the healer in my video featuring that hunt, the healer I've changed Rowana out for Amelia. So if you want a Katie's team that is very consistent, almost no fail, and pretty fast, you could follow that guide, and this is the Sirmia that's kind of like in there. I think slightly different now. I've changed some of the rage set gear back to Sigret for a Wyvern one shot, but she works. Hellcutter is more useful than DDJ there, and then so yeah, so that's it. Kana is for Expo. We're not gonna look at that. So A Tywin kind of fell off. I don't really use him anymore. Remember the good old days when it was just A Tywin, G Purgus, Last Rider Crow, right? Cancer meta, but he's not as effective anymore. There is this build is like pretty old now, kind of outdated. I don't know how I want to use him anymore. I kind of use him in Guild War offense again. A lot of Guild War heroes, a lot of flexibility, but Yeah, those are the stats. So it's got a like minor crit chance with some crit damage with some effectiveness. It's neither here nor there. It's kind of a weird build, to be honest. Wait, this is 18 speed. Maybe I could use it on someone else. Maybe I have to do a rehaul sometime. But yeah, that's him. Sid is mainly used for Expo. So we'll look at that. Maid Chloe also kind of fell off. She is useful sometimes. I don't use her as much anymore. But those are the stats there. Just the speed bulk with effect resist. Let's quickly show it, but she's not as relevant anymore. FCC, haven't used it in a while as well. Did get an imprint actually. I think I got 2 imprints. The last time I showed, I think she had no imprints, and then there was a Cecilia banner with kind of like a lull of the limited heroes and stuff. So I pulled for a couple, got her to that, and Senya kind of rebuilt her. Almost maxed or imprint, or sorry, maxed artifact, but I chose not to buy the last one. Maybe that's a mistake, but just in case I pull one in combination of a mystic banner that I'm also pulling on, because generally when I'm pulling on a mystic banner I get the artifact anyway, so the confidence. So yeah, this is the Senya at the moment. We got 6.1k attack. I mean, I'm okay with the bulk. I think the bulk is fair for Senya. The speed is on the lower side. I wish I can get like 200 speed, and with that bulk and the attack, I think I'd be very satisfied with this build. But this is it for now. I think, yeah, the B imprint. Don't think I went to chase for an imprint. I don't believe I did. I think I just got lucky. But the last one I did a Mola. Landy on injury still. If you were watching my injury Landy showcase last season, I was all about the injury. I just haven't really used her because she's just not as strong as she was anymore. I found that I'd had no room to draft her into my comps, like maybe once or twice, and maybe she did work even with injury, but it was already because like Landy would have won it anyway, so regardless of the injury. But yeah, she's gonna be kept like this for a while, although I do use her in Expo, so it's kind of good to get her into a higher damage type of build. So I think Landy's generally counter set at the moment, or speed set with really good stats. I think that's the way to go at the moment. I mean, I used to run lifesteal. That didn't really work out because of all the unhealable, especially from rem counter. And then I tried injury, and injury is now a bit too slow in terms of the current World Arena meta. But with the double ban though, which I haven't played with the double ban, with the double pre-ban, that might change it up. So I don't know, maybe she'll stay injury for a while. Last Rider Crow, this is I mean, I still like him. I still think he's one of the coolest characters. Unfortunately, again, how meta shifts, characters just get put aside for a while. Maybe he'll see a revival in the future. I am always tempted to do this. It's just because so this helmet would have been really crazy on him. So lose 9 speed, but almost at 30,000 attack. Just 30,000 HP. That would have been really cool, but I didn't commit to it because again, I don't use them too much anymore. But I still built Falcon Cleary, much nerfed. This is she's Expo main as well. Dark Expo to be precise. See, I got some speed gear. Sometimes it's just like not really usable. If this was an effectiveness ring, this would be used on a meta character. Yeah. Rimuru, I'm always wanting to upgrade him, to be honest. Either speed immunity or speed pen. But I might just go speed immunity, to be honest. Speed immunity set in the future, and maybe proof of valor. I know that's how people run him. But I feel like his damage and his bulk is all too low. So at the moment, he's kind of like, he's just basically a placeholder for pretty decent gear that isn't really usable for anyone else. So that's my Rimuru at the moment. Haven't changed him, but I think mechanically speaking, if you draft him or you use him in the right scenario, he's just very strong anyway. But the speed is better, so you can get the cut for his CR boost. Kayron I haven't used in a long time, and as you can see, they're broken set as well, so I'm not going to look at that. So Piera on RNL. RNL is a bit tricky. Very cool if you can get the RNL to stun 2 targets. The issue is that RNL could potentially cause a Rimuru proc too. So I've had that happen. That you know, I go S2, S3, and then RNL, and then I have to attack, and then Rimuru will of course, like assuming I missed the strip as well, so he has immunity on, I can't stun him. So what he would do is that he would take the he'll not only take the attack buff, he'll also steal the sheer damage buff. What was it called? Not this one. This one? The escort buff. Yeah. So I've seen that happen, and that was wild. Once everybody has the escort buff, I didn't even know what was happening. But they were all like, they all just felt tankier. Basically, like I tried to kill A Robbie was being, you know, damage shared through like a Rimuru, and then hit Rimuru. A Robbie was damage sharing through him. So it's like, it's very crazy. So RNL, probably not the best thing. I see a lot of people using Goblet of Oath, which I think is her artifact, but I'm not quite sure what it does. So I don't think I have the artifact anyway. But yeah, this is what I have. So I mean, I'll just show the gear really quick. So I've got B effectiveness. I think I did pull for 2 actually. I did because I felt that she was so strong that I had to pull for 2 right away. So I did. These are the stats. Oops, these are the stats for this. 22 speed. A lot of my speed gears are, of course, the heroic gear. And I made a, in case you're watching this and you're just like, oh man, I want all that speed gear. There is a methodology. It's not guaranteed you can get the speed gear, but you just basically have to roll a lot. I made a tips and change video on my mentality when rolling for speed gear. And I think for some of the players that I've heard, their feedback is that, oh, once they realize the mentality, they actually just roll. And I roll a lot of my speed gear on stream too. So I mean, I am like my fastest pieces are like 21, 22 speed. So I'm not breaking the fastest speed gear, but I just have a lot of them. So that's good. In terms of just like, you know, decking out a couple heroes that I need speed contesting. Clarissa is for Wyvern. Violet, I rebuilt him for Ran, Caesarea, or Piera Caesarea, what have you. So that there's a risk where the Assyria could not dispel his immunity or miss him. So just on immunity set, it will prevent the ice strips from stripping him and then causing the passive bomb from Caesarea to land on him. So I just basically emphasize mainly the damage. Pen set definitely, pen set's good, but for longer fights, and the way I want to use him again now is just like pretty much for that. It's just to counter that. But outside of that, he has like pretty decent attack, I guess decent defense as well. A lot of flat defense on this piece. HP is on the low side for sure though. But I wanted to emphasize damage, speed, and the immunity. Designer Lilibet, after getting the buff, she was insane. She really saved my World Arena. So I took a break from World Arena after the Ambition season, and then when Conviction season was about to end, I started watching RTA streamers again. I'm like, okay, you know what? It's still a good mode. Okay, it's still a good mode, but I had to like lose a ton. Especially when I was like climbing out of placements. So apparently something about the match ranking or whatever, it was still like, as soon as I got out of placements, like silver, gold, I was like matching like champs and emps, but like it wasn't like low champs and emps, and they probably had more experience. So I was getting steamrolled. It was very, very tough. And I had a guildmate, Vaxis. He was like basically teaching me, he's like, oh yeah, use design a little bit, use Politis. And he basically gave me these strategies, and it really helped me get like a better win rate and then finally hit champ easier. Otherwise it was just a really deadly grind. I had no idea what to draft. I was really out of touch. It is pretty scary how quick the meta can shift, especially with one hero dropped. Everything else kind of like ripple effects. But design a little bit is incredibly strong versus a lot of the meta heroes. So I think they did a really good job at buffing her. I definitely didn't think she was that strong when I read her buff notes, but in practice, she's very, very strong. I want to eventually probably muller this if she still remains really meta. And during the Bad Cat Armin banner, I pulled one and I got a little bit out of it, so I got even more crit rate, which is really good. That means I can lower the crit rate in the future for maybe more speed or something like that. In terms of the stats, I think I'm okay with it. And a 0 comment for that extra boost if you kill, and for the 15% crit rate. So good artifact. I already showed that. Cerise is just not as useful anymore with Ran and Piera now being like a double. You could select them both. So unless you have a Cerise that is like 310, 315 speed or something like that, like to speed contest those so you can stun them, she's not that strong anymore. So I definitely I used her once in World Arena actually, once or twice as a pocket pick, which worked. She's just not as a high priority pick anymore. Because most people would just assume that she's just not as fast as your Ran or your Piera and stuff like that. She is at an S. I'll just quickly show the gear. Yeah, potentially like, you know, still got some speed gear on her. I could probably put it on someone else. If I find someone to use it, I don't know. Mercedes, use her mainly for AI. Not as defense, but like offense AI. So like if they have a lot of counters or something, she can still counter their counter. So it's sometimes useful against some teams. But she's really not that. Like if you see this kind of, I mean, the helmet is pretty good actually, but it's basically not focused. I didn't really focus her. Cdom, I won't talk about her too much. Quickly show the stats. Don't use her a lot anymore. A lot of Bellions, so very hard to use. Offensively, RTA. DN also kind of fell out, but she's still geared, so I'll just show that. And don't use her that much anymore, actually. Maybe for Automaton Tower. That's it. Ravi, actually kind of rebuilt mainly for that Ancient Inheritance mode that we got a couple weeks ago. This one's actually really pretty good gear, this piece. And then yeah, so basically like just put together on whatever scraps, so she was usable. And then my Lionheart Sirmia, I like this build. I'll of course I'll have the self-critique that the defense is definitely low. Unfortunately Sirmia, it has very low stats, so getting to 2k defense, you're gonna sacrifice something. You're sacrificing the speed, the HP, the damage. But I'm okay with the 1800 defense. If I get the defense buff, either from the Pillis passive or her own passive, or anyone who can give her a defense buff, or even the Vigor from C. Lilius, it is pretty strong already. Like you get 2k, you get 2k defense. You're scaling what was the defense buff, like 60%? 60% defense, yeah. 60% defense versus like 1800. I don't feel like you're losing that much damage. Of course, like me explaining this sounds pretty copium, but it's mainly the speed. I feel that Lionheart Sirmia, no matter what, you gotta have her speed up, so that she scales with her speed buff from the S1 quicker, or she gets the turn before she dies. Like relatively speaking, there's a lot of stuff that can one-shot her, especially right now. Hwayoung, Rimuru was always a threat there. They could just one-shot her, like through the like ignore defense mechanics, the fixed damage mechanics and stuff like that. So yeah, so there's some of the stuff that's kind of scuffed here. She has a double S, if you noticed. It's because I had so many Fire Sirmias laying around. Once at triple S, I think I'm gonna try to look for better gear. She's still one of my favorite characters that have been released recently in the past 2-3 months in terms of ML. I think C. Lilius is really cool, but Lionheart Sirmia actually, I made a video on Lionheart Sirmia, actually 2, because of how much I liked her kit. I think that she's not OP, but in the right situations she can be very, very strong. So I really like her. I like her character design as well. So I definitely think she deserves the love. But I'm definitely remaining on lifesteal set, so if I can get the speed up to 200, that'd be great, or the defense to 2000, that'd be good. More health wouldn't be too bad, but I would say defense or speed are the two main stats I want to hit higher on this build. Troublemaker Cross I won't show too much because I don't really use him at all anywhere. So I'm not a and then Watcher Shuri I've showed in the past. Solitary of the Snow with the buff. After the buff, she's not OP, but she definitely has a place. I'll give a credit to my one of my Patreon supporters, Deke. I don't know if he learned it from anywhere else, but I'm gonna give him the credit because he's the one that told me. He's just like, oh, Solitary is really good into Rimuru. Because if you dispel him successfully and you stun him, but you have immunity, you can trigger his Analyze and Assess, his S2, and basically stun him, right? And so he's wasted the turn. And then she's like safe against single target damage as well because of her passive and she can stealth. I did put her on my second copy of Fairy Tail for a Nightmare and it's worked. I've won like 2 RTA matches with her being the sole damage dealer because they couldn't reach her in time. And like and then she just kept on proccing this and then proccing the AoE, and then they would die from the flat damage. So she's not bad at all. After my impression with her, I gave her some more love. I'm on the fence of making her a high effectiveness hero though. Like, I mean, this is not really high effectiveness to be one for one. That's only 99, so it's very tricky. But I don't know if I want to give her more bulk. So higher HP, her barrier skills on HP. So I kind of want that instead. But anyways, that boot is really scuffed. This was like a very old boot that I rolled to complete a build, which is something that I always say don't do to other players. But yes, you see myself being a hypocrite, of course. See Lilius, of course, like, you know, pretty meta, and she'll feature some of my speed gear again, but you'll see like the speed gear averages are like 20, 21, you know, maybe 22 max, but I don't have many 22s, so 21s. So that's pretty much it. I mean, just roll purple gear, you're gonna get speed gear eventually. If you struggle with speed gear, just keep rolling purple gear. Like, I've rolled thousands and thousands and thousands of purple gear to be able to get anything, but I still haven't gotten like a 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Man, 28 speed, please. J-Kisei after buff, she's still pretty bad, so let's just skip. Crow, haven't had to change him since 2 seasons ago. He works when I need him to, but not a high use hero anymore. Maybe Guild War offense, sometimes arena offense. Zahak, I used to have him on the Symbol of Unity that you saw on my Lionheart Surmia, and he's great for Guild War. He's very good. Once I had him, I basically lost to no violets anymore. I would swap to the Symbol of Unity for the more damage, but I have the Oath Key on just in case I need to use him in World Arena. I don't think that he has his place because my speed is also too low, but the damage on him is very solid. His Soul Burn S1, if they are buffed, his S3 does a lot of damage. This neck is hilarious. It rolled well. It's a flat attack one, but it's like perfect for him because he already has 50% crit rate, technically for free. So this ended up being like a really cool necklace for him. And then this one's kind of scuffed. Again, didn't prioritize like the best gear on him just because he's mainly like AI type fights. Bazaar, I basically just never ungeared him. He's not a priority, nor is he like too bad. I still used him once or twice, not in World Arena though. It's if you realize something about like the meta, it's like it goes full circle, right? So like, especially like looking at arena defense metas, it goes full circles. Like before, like, oh, you wouldn't be able to use the Oxlots with a double speed imprint, and then now like the way that teams are set up, you could go Oxlots and a double speed imprint again. Like, it's pretty interesting. I think you could probably J-Kisei too, but I'm going Luna. A cigarette is for Wyverns. I won't look at that. Taiwan's for Expo. A Ravi. This is my A Ravi at the moment. Not really satisfied with the build. I never was. I think maybe last season I was okay with it, but yeah, this is my build for it. This chest was pretty good too. This chest made the bulk work for this build. I am going with a health main. this is not meant to be like a defense. I don't run A-Ravi on any defense teams. This is literally meant for offense, but mainly to survive Hwayoung at the moment. But she does so little damage that it's almost insignificant. So I'm still finding a place for my A-Ravi. C Armin, I don't think I want to go through this. Don't really use her that much. G Purgus is kind of old. I won't talk about that. ML Haste. ML Haste got upgrades for him, so I just show the gear at least. So this helmet was really nice. Rolled that on stream one day. So really got him a very high health. Pretty decent defense. ER is almost at 100, but it's not quite there yet. I am at an S imprint. I did pull hastes in one of my Mystic Summon rotations. So Sage Ball, I don't really use him anymore. Used to be my Proof of Valor. I think I would probably have to rebuild him if I want to use him. I'm not gonna really talk about him too much. Let's see here. Is anything else notable? Oh yeah, so Amelia has been still a PvP queen in my opinion. Still usable in World Arena, depending on the draft that you're facing. I've definitely seen like her chosen against me, where I had situations where okay, I have to ban her. The Doctor's Bag here is for Guild War mainly versus C Lilius defenses. If you watch my Guild War videos, you know that she can cleanse all the debuffs, so you could have her like cleanse Opsig to be the bait for C Lilius, one shot something through C Lilius' barrier, attack buff for your second DPS, but this Doctor's Bag would have cleansed the attack down on your second DPS, so your second DPS gets the full damage, which is really good. I'll just quickly show the gear. I don't know, man. I don't know. It depends on if Amelia is still going to be very meta. I could probably give some of this speed gear to someone else too. She has pretty good speed gear, as you saw there, like 19 speed, 21. That's not terrible in my books, but like she's not also pushing or using the full potential because she has also slower pieces. So I feel like maybe I could move some things around to make some fast contesters even faster or something. I don't know. But anyways, like I said, you see that my speed gear does not go over 22 a lot. So Tamarine is PvE. Ruel, I don't know. I'll just show the no commentary on this. I still don't use Ruel a lot. I built her this way for World Arena and tried to use it this way. She doesn't work for me all the time, so I won't comment on it. I've never been a really good Ruel user. Oxlot's 294 speed, so I give him a lot of my best speed gear to be honest, because I still use him a lot, especially offensively. So oh yeah, so even on him, actually I just noticed. So you got a 22, you got a 21, you got a 22, you got a 22, you got a 22. So on him, he's got some pretty decent gear. I think it's mainly like the substats are just not, this one's actually okay, I guess. The substats are just not like, they don't synergize. So it's like, who do I put it on, you know? Like, I guess this could go to Ran as well, but I would need more crit rate somewhere else. But stuff like that, it's just, Oxlots, I still like him with really fast speed. Because paired with Luna, paired with the speed imprint, you're usually able to take out a full team. Whether that be Guild War, or Arena offense, or something like that. Bellion, I put her on counter. I had her on Indri set last season, where I believe Indri was better. When she was released, I think Indri was very strong. And then a lot of these like fast tempo, fast paced heroes came out, and I think Indri Bellion started suffering because like the Indri wouldn't do much anyway from the overall aspect of the fight. So I went for the counter Bellion. Counter Bellion I think is much stronger because if you're going with squishies against her, you just have higher chance of punishing them no matter who they hit, right? So you got the Elbrist dealing with everyone else that gets hit, and you get the counter if they choose to hit her. But on an Indri Bellion, he's like, oh, it's an Indri Bellion? Okay, let's just keep hitting the Bellion, and she's dead. So it's like, yeah, it's to each their own, but I feel that Indri Bellion, or Indri in general now, Indri set, is very weak compared to something else. Maybe on SSB, where it's always going to be passive, is still useful, but even then, I'm just like, eh. Like, if you go with a lifesteal SSB, full damage SSB, I wouldn't have any doubts. This is my Archdemon's Shadow. I tried using her. I was really hyped to use her after her buff. think I won with her once and I lost with her 3 times, and I didn't know how to use her properly. I think either I didn't get the procs that I needed, either the counter procs or the seal procs. It just didn't work out. But she does have my +30 Fairy Tale of a Nightmare. Just quickly show the stats. I think bulk wise, I think she's pretty good. I think speed wise, she's pretty low. I think that's my issue with her at the moment. Crit rate neck. Yeah, so I'm farming more Banshee right now, because if you can see a trend is that my Banshee gear is kind of like, you might get like one or two spicy pieces, and then you get like something like this. Although the 900 health is not that bad on her, but it's also not great on her either. She has decent HP, I believe. But either way, it's just like you see like a lot of that random stuff. Alina I never used, to be honest. I never used. That's why I feel like her gear is not that good. So I won't go through all of that. Let's see if there's anything else. Corinne is for one shot. For Expo, LQC definitely lacks a bit of the tempo unless you have an Amelia to push. Now she gets punished too easily at the moment. But this was LQC at the end of Ambition season, not Conviction season. I didn't get to use her at all. I'll just quickly show it, but I think I did showcase this LQC last season, and I was more proud of it. And then now she's kind of just like, she's not useful anymore. Maybe pocket pick. Infernal Kawazu, I nerfed mine. I was almost at 250 speed, about 240 speed actually, with like 4.6k attack. And after Hwayoung, I prioritized my like full attack gear so that he still has decent speed. I use him a lot for like offense attacks. Sometimes pocket pick for World Arena, but outside of that, he doesn't have much. But I am using the Hwayoung artifact, which is, you can see I got a couple copies because of pulling for her dupes. But at the moment at the 90% proc rate. I have a border coin laying around, which was used to be his, but usually in a fight, the border coin would only proc once anyway. So you get 10% attack, and you get more speed out of it. But you get 10% attack, and the fight's either dead, like either you're dead or the fight's over. So I figured like this would be better no matter what. Even if I can proc that 90% burn, you're at least detonating an extra burn. So that's my mentality using that instead of the border coin, even though border coin is 30 and this is at plus 24. Oh wait, increase to 15%. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll switch it back. But so far I'm liking this. So far I have gotten to use him with this artifact at 90% proc rate. So far it hasn't disappointed me. So even the S1 does work as well. So you get an extra burn there. So it's pretty good. Fairy Tale. Let me see if I could scrap some of this gear. So she's not that useful anymore. She's not that useful anymore. I could probably take the weapon, use it on someone else. 18 speed. But yeah, SSB on injury. This was broken set because I use her for farming KDs with this ring. But otherwise it would be like something like, it's like an injury ring. It was really like this. So last season, I think she worked okay. This season, I wouldn't have used her at all. I don't think I drafted her once. Whether being injury or lifesteal, I just don't see a position in the fights that I was engaged in. Let's skip these guys, and then Rem. So this is my Rem at the moment. Defensive Rem, and used against the crit rate is super scuffed. But I have a triple S Rem. The crit rate is pretty scuffed, but really she's there just to retaliate against people who are kind of squishy and can trigger her counter. That's pretty much the mentality behind it. I do run her on defense teams, Guild War and Arena, and I don't know if it's her securing the win, but I honestly think that Rem's built around any range of bulk and damage and crit rate is useful as long as she procs. I think it's useful. Charlotte, I somewhat nerfed, I believe, since last season. But I'll just show the stats. Put her on the Justice for All. Took her off Symbol of Unity just because Symbol of Unity is such a good artifact, and I just didn't see her being used that much in my own drafting. So put her on this just in case I need it, and she still get a buff, so it would make her be able to proc the AoE S1 more often. Free Spiritia, not used. ML Ken, I don't want to talk about him. Did a video on him, he never changed, and I don't think he's that good. Rowana is mainly PvE. Backhat Armin, also don't talk about that. Sinful Angelica. Sinful Angelica, I like a lot, actually. If I could give her 260 speed with, you know, same effect resist, I think she's fine. AI comps mainly. 260 speed would secure more scenarios. And this is that other RB I was talking about. And I think that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much it for this one. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We're judging by CP, but I don't see anyone else I've built. Yeah. Anyways, so that's it for my account showcase for the Conviction season. We'll see what the new characters are like. Guilty Gear collab, Jacko, and you know, whatever else they drop at us, the new ML Flan. We'll see what my account looks like next season, but hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Thank you guys for watching this. I'll end this here. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. If you guys are interested in seeing more content from me, please check out my new YouTube channel, Casual Face Rule. This channel will be mainly focused on my stream VODs when I play other games. I've been currently playing a lot of Elden Ring, and I love it. You guys even know I'm really bad at platforming! Oh, I'm so clutch. Punch it! Oh, shoot! So you say? So if you want to support me there, please consider subscribing. Thanks.